All right, Pacific Northwest lacrosse fans, I am sitting here today with Hudson Horiuchi, Huddy, 2025 graduate out of Bellarmine High School in Tacoma, Washington. Hudson is committed to Wagner College in Staten Island, New York. He's going to be going there for business. That's congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Recently graduating high school. It's a great accomplishment. So we'll just dive right in. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for joining in and clicking on the link to come and check this out. We're really just trying to get the word out about the Pacific Northwest lacrosse athlete. Hudson here is an extreme talent here in the Northwest. From all the educating that I could do on myself, it seems like lacrosse just has really come natural to you. Is it just like as soon as you picked up the stick, you felt like some natural ability?
You know, it took a little bit of time. In the start of my career, 3rd, 4th grade, I was not very good. Summer going into 5th grade, I finally made my first South Sound team. Barely saw the field. It was a 2024-2025 combined team with guys like Joey Bambrick, Max Malaznik, a lot of good guys on that team. And it was hard for me to see in the field, and that's when I knew I had to practice, put in the work, get better so I could get on the field. And then the following year, I finally made the team again and got more playing time. I was able to gradually get better and better to get more and more playing time.
So you mentioned 3rd and 4th grade, so that's when you started lacrosse. Yeah. That's when your lax journey, so to speak, began. I was looking through, and so 2018 was your 5th and 6th grade season. I noticed you were an all-star player in your 5th and 6th grade for the South Sound Youth League. You mentioned playing with guys like Joey Bambrick, who's over at Notre Dame. Max Malaznik is in my line to interview as well. Another 2025 commit from Bellarmine along with you. Great group of athletes coming out of Tacoma there in Bellarmine that you've got to compete with for a number of years here. 2021 World Series lacrosse in Bethesda. I mean, what kind of experience was that like for you?
Oh, that was an unreal experience. Like being with the guys against some of the best teams in the world. Like there was some high level competition there. Very high recruits there now who are going to like Duke, North Carolina, Virginia, all the high schools, all at one tournament, and it was unreal.
Absolutely, yeah. What an kind of like a culture shock too, right? Because I remember the first time I went from West Coast to East Coast and witnessed lacrosse. The speed is what really impressed me. I've been a football guy probably my whole life. That's most guys my age from the West Coast can say that. We have focused a lot on the physical side of lacrosse, not so much the IQ and the development side of lacrosse, where on the East Coast, I feel like that fluidness of ball movement and speed and gameplay is a lot more prevalent on the East Coast. So were you able to get some eye-opening matchups over there where you're performing?
Yeah, definitely. It really was eye-opening seeing like how good everyone was with their stick skills. It felt like what I could get away with just my athleticism, and Washington wasn't able to fly in the East Coast against some of these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good thing to take away, that some of the things that worked in Washington just wasn't going to work over there. And that's a good message to get out to the rest of our lacrosse community is, you guys, there's a whole nother level that we've got to compete against. And it's not just the guys in our backyard. You got to get yourself out there. And that's another reason why I think Committed is a good platform for those possibly following in your footsteps. Is it takes a lot for the Pacific Northwest athlete to get recognized to get to that next level. Whereas maybe if you'd grown up in Staten Island, you might be a easier recruit for a school like Wagner. But I mean, you know, thank the lucky stars, they reached all the way out to the west side of the country and snagged you up. So we kind of went back to 3rd and 4th. We went 5th and 6th grade. I want to talk a little bit more about you specifically. So you got brother and sister at home. Any other siblings that I don't know about?
Yeah, I got 2 sisters.
Oh, wow. 2 sisters. So you're the middle or the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
Oh, the baby in the house. Right on. And then, so older brother, he was a Bellarmine graduate as well, or he went to Stadium?
He went to Stadium.
That's what I thought. Yep, go Tigers. I'm also
Oh.
a Stadium alumni,
yeah.
class of 2000, long time ago. But yeah, so got love for the Tigers over there, and that's great. Your brother moved on. Now you're moving on. That's got to be extremely prideful for your folks. How is that all coming together when you found out you're getting committed? That's what, towards the end of your junior season, and then you go through your junior year. Bellarmine virtually undefeated last season. I think you guys didn't lose until you got down into O'Day semifinals, right?
Yeah, pretty much. League play, we did pretty well last year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's a season, at least in my experience, that Bellarmine didn't finish at the top. So a great program that they're running over there in Tacoma at Bellarmine High School. I do believe Coach Bambrick has stepped down after this last season. So new head coaches coming up through the ranks and going to put something good together. Looking forward to see what they do over there in the 2026-25 season. So we're going to Wagner for business. What are you looking to do with your business degree?
Oh, I got a lot of options right now, but I'm thinking more towards the financial side. I really want to work in Wall Street, so I feel like this is a good direction to get to Wall Street, you know?
You're going to New York, too, for school for business. I mean, I think it's only a matter of time before we're seeing you in three-piece suits and that slick-back hairdo, so that's awesome. Let's see. All-region midfielder for Olympia and Puget Sound. This last season. You went to the All-Stars for this 2025 season as well. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was a great experience, you know, being with all the top players from the league, just having a good time. There was a lot of behind the backs, a lot of attack going on defense, just overall fun game. It was the last game of my high school career, just the All-Star game. So just letting the moment sink in that this is the last moment. It was a great experience.
Oh yeah, I saw just a piece of it. I was over doing the broadcasting on the field for the Mount Si versus East Lake championship game there for the 4A, and you guys were down on the main field doing the All-Star game right around the same time. So I came in, caught a piece of it, and yeah, you're not lying, man. It was a lot of extra, the BTBs, the bounce passes, and things like that you wouldn't ordinarily see during the season where the game is on the line and everything counts. So this time you guys were able to kind of let your hair down, so to speak, and kind of enjoy each other's talents out there on the field. And the All-Stars here in the Pacific Northwest, what a great group of talent that you had out there on the field. I think I saw guys like Tate Peters from Rogers in Tacoma as well, another stud midfielder that you guys get to bounce back and forth on. So you've played on some tremendous rosters between Seattle Stars, Advanced NDP, West Coast Stars. You've been on a number of teams where they're playing at the next level. Is there any one particular player throughout your time in lacrosse that has stood out or maybe acted as a mentor for you?
Yeah, I'd probably say Matthew Higgins. He's a guy from California, went to a boarding school called Boys Latin, and became one of the best players in the class of 2025. He's a 4 or 5 star recruit heading to Maryland. Great player, great leader on the field. He's the type of guy who was like, every time I'm on the field, I feel like I can get an assist if I pass it to him, or he can find a way to get one of our midfielders open for a goal. It was like, if you needed a guy, you look for him.
Higgins, going to have to check him out for sure. Expect a click of the like button from this guy. You're going to see something from Pacific Northwest Lax Caller for sure. So you talked about having that faith in that guy on the field. And as many people that I've interviewed in lacrosse, that seems to be a common thread, is having that trust and the faith in the guys that you're out there moving the ball with. How easy is it to obtain that when you really haven't played with? Like, sometimes you're getting into these groups where you haven't even practiced but maybe once or twice before you're having to go into a tournament and perform. how does that camaraderie like begin? Do you guys just all relate because you're like, you know what, we're good, we're all good at what we do, we're selected for a reason, let's go work together? Does that help to aid to that, or how's that work?
It definitely does, because the most important thing is trust. You got to trust your teammate if you got to pass them the ball, if you're getting passed the ball. If you don't believe your teammate's going to do a good job, it's really hard to make sure he's going to do a good job. So just trusting the guy next to you, knowing you and everyone there for a reason.
Absolutely, yeah, no, and that's a good message for the younger guys who maybe haven't got that part figured out. And you know, I've said it on the podcast before, and I've talked about championships teams and what coaches have said. The number one thing for them to get there is that brotherhood and that camaraderie, and that's something that I've always adhered to and tried to coach within my players. So it's good to see your variation of that and how you implement that into your field. And speaking of that, so that brotherhood and that trust, now you're going to be going off to Wagner, some kids you've never seen before and never had a chance to play with before. How are you going to ingrain yourself into that fiber of that Wagner lacrosse team?
Yeah, that's a great question. It just starts with connection. Like right now, we're all in summer break. We just started, we figured out our roommates, our living situations. It's just communicating right now so we can build up team chemistry going on to fall captains practices starting first week of the school year, and just building up momentum, building connections, building camaraderie so that we can have the connection come February in our first games.
Yeah, no, that's a great message to start getting a leg up before you guys are ever face to face. Really, you guys are on the phone, texting, and social media and stuff like that. Just keeping that connection as close as you can when you're hundreds of miles away, thousands of miles away. You're on the other side of the country. So, no, that's a great message to to those up and coming, is to if you're trying to regain a space or gain a space, excuse me, into your next position, it's better to start early than it is to come to it late. That's outstanding. So you're D1 college lacrosse athlete. What's your regiment look like? What is your schedule? Are you working out 7 days a week, or you taking it kind of light because it's summertime? What's that look like?
Yeah, so right now I'm trying to go 5-6 days a week. I got my split of the classic gym bro split of push, pull, legs in the gym. I've kind of transitioned to our like Wagner summer workouts, some kind of less of that. But I always try to do, when I do legs, I do plyometrics. When I do pull day, I do like speed work / core. And then maybe on a push day, I'll do some cardio. And then always sprinkle in some shooting workouts of the field. I don't like working out by myself, but I love working out with other players. Like you mentioned Tate Peters before, we're gonna do a shooting workout tomorrow at Stadium. And it's always just finding other good players to shoot with, so you can do some drills that you can't do by yourself, or get a defender and you can do one-on-ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And how important is that? So you mentioned Wagner's summer training regimen, and you're beginning to adhere to that and kind of just shed a little bit of what you had in the past. So how much of that are you implementing stick work and like you said, getting those one-on-one matchups? Are you getting those 4 and 5 days a week as well?
Yeah, that's always the goal. I do wall ball every day. Luckily, thanks to my parents, I have a wall ball rebounder at the house, and I always have the elementary school near my house. It's got lights 24/7, so hits 11 p.m. Got nothing to do. I haven't hit the wall yet somehow. Just drive over to the school and get some quick work in.
That's awesome. That's absolutely true. I mean, Rabel talked about it, shooting 150, 200 a day, right? And it seems like you're doing that, and it seems to be relatively easy to find a place, right? So if anything's standing in somebody's way, it's just an excuse, more or less, right? So, and that stick handling, I've seen you play. I mean, you put up a fair amount of goals. I think I wrote and it's all an unofficial number because sportability, you can't really rely on it 100%. But you had 11 goals with 7 assists. They said for last season, and that to me really says a lot about a player when his assist number are up there with his goals. And 18 goals or 18 points on the season is an amazing season. You helped your team out tremendously in 2 games in particular. One versus Ballard, you put 5 goals up against Ballard and 6 against Tacoma. In a game like that where you're racking the points up, you're starting to feel that juice, if you will. What's going through your mind when you're in a situation like that?
Oh, it's a great question. Always keep pushing. Don't let your foot off the gas pedal. Like specifically on that Tacoma game, we kind of came in a little bit overconfident. It was kind of a must-win game to keep our like league title hopes alive, and we looked at the numbers way too much of, hey, we beat these teams a lot more than Tacoma did. And then come game time, we're down by 3 in the end of the first half. I'm having a poor game. I've got 1 goal. I'm 1 for 5 shooting. I tell myself, what are we doing? This is my last regular season game as a high schooler. I've got to step in right now, get hot. Started the second half, immediately score a couple goals. I'm like, okay, I can't give up. Got to control what you can control. Sure, we're down right now, but I can't change that. I can only change my mindset and how hard I go. So I've got to go 110% if we want any chance to win this game, and encourage all the other guys on the team. Hey, I know we're losing to a team we should be beating, but it doesn't matter. We still got this. There's time left on the clock. We just got to be ourselves. We can't let ourselves be ourselves and play the game.
Spoken like a true midfield captain, and that is a title that you wore proudly throughout this last season, as you stated, as your last season as a high schooler. You talked about that energy, and I think about that Bellarmine squad, and I can't think about a high energy player without thinking about Logan Shaw. Logan Shaw, a top-notch athlete. I hope to get him on the podcast soon. He and I have talked a couple times. He's just a very, very busy athlete, as I'm sure you can relate right now. A Westminster commit. Another stud coming out of the Pacific Northwest. But how much does that energy feed when the two of you guys get together?
Oh, it feeds. He's the type of guy, he wants to lead the huddle. He wants to give a pregame speech. All the boys love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely got a great energy about him. Another kid, he's representing the Pacific Northwest and possibly the best way you can imagine, by playing for Team Oregon throughout the summers, and then he competes for Washington over with Bellarmine throughout the school year. It just insane kid to complement your talents. It's going to take somebody like a Logan Shaw or a Max Malaznik to keep up with that pace to where you can play at your best as well. So great group of kids that you've got over there at Bellarmine in Tacoma, and you're going to look to take a lot of that on with you to New York. So what I'm just going to kind of go through my randoms, because I think we did a pretty good job at touching on the important stuff. Not that it's not all important, but so we talked about your routine and your regiment and workout and stuff. What's your nutrition look like?
Yeah, I try to get a high protein diet. I'm really trying to bulk up right now. I'm sitting at 185 pounds right now. I'm trying to get up to 190 come February. So that means getting a high protein diet with a lot of steaks. I eat a lot of steaks, a lot of chicken. Get some rice in there too to boost up some extra calories. And I always try to throw in some fruit, vegetable, something like that in a meal.
It's always great to hear a kid your age really understand what the food that you eat does for you and how to use that appropriately. That's really important in setting yourself apart in training and keeping your body fueled. I'm definitely not the spokesperson for good health, but I could recognize it when I see it. And you're probably what, 5'11", 6 foot?
Yeah, around there.
5'11", 6 foot, 190. Your BMI is really, really low. So you're in great shape. 190, I think, is a great goal for you. Add a little bit of weight, put some more oomph behind your shot. Not necessarily that you need it, because I feel like you're shifty enough to get it in the net. But at a midfielder, I see you dishing more than I see you scoring. But I mean, you are Hudson Horiuchi. How do you manage your athletic responsibilities outside of other responsibilities? So, like, I mean, you are a kid at the end of the day. You're just getting out of high school. You got a bunch of friends. How do you juggle that?
Yeah, I always try to do it early in the morning. One of my Bellarmine coaches, Coach Evan Woosley, he always said, eat the frog in the morning during our morning workouts. You want to get the hard stuff done right away so you can enjoy the later parts of the day. So that means waking up early, immediately going to the gym, hitting the field, do some wall ball in the morning. So then you don't have to be thinking, oh, I don't want to work out today. So hit 3 p.m., you already did.
It's already done. Yeah, I like that. Eat the frog early. That's a good message. Shout out to Coach Woosley. Is that what you said? Coach Woosley at Bellarmine for that one. Eat the frog early. I like it. I'm always big a fan. I carry that into my adult life at working. I want to get all the work done so you can kind of just coast throughout the day and just, whatever fires come up, you can handle them, not have to worry about all those responsibilities. So great message there. Hit it early. Get it out of the way. Then you can figure out what you need to do from there. So we talked about players and mentoring from other players, but what about coaches? You've had a lot of really, really talented coaches that have kind of dropped knowledge on you from here and there. Is there one in particular that maybe stood out for you?
Yeah, there's a lot. One that really sticks out to me is Coach Dylan Hummel. He's out at Skyline right now. He was my Seattle Stars coach. Fantastic role model, fantastic coach. He's someone that I can just learn from, understands it well. Just overall amazing, fantastic coach in person.
What do you say it is about his coaching style that makes it to where you want to listen?
Yeah, he's just very understanding. He understands, you can't understand everything right away, but you can. Keep on. He's very patient. Very patient. He's just a great coach.
So just in his deliveries, more or less, that he's going to be accepting and he's open for questions, and shared understanding, things like that. That's awesome. That's great to have those sort of coaches that you can grab bits and pieces from, and they help shape you to be the person that you are. Because ultimately, you're that bird. You're out of the nest now, right? So you're going to fly on your own and take all those great little jewels that you've gotten over the years and implement them in college, and maybe pass them on to some teammates up there in New York. So that's outstanding, man. I'm really excited to see what you do on the D1 stage. I'm happy to know you as a young man and to be able to kind of get the word out there a little bit about who Huddy is and where to find you. So you're on Instagram. We've had your YouTube, well, we're on the PLL now, but we had your YouTube highlights up there. I'm guessing it's your dad that's taken such is your big fan. He's got all your videos, your highlight reels and stuff like that. And so let's talk about that, right? Having dad as their biggest fan and giving you that promotion and stuff, right? Because we want to talk about how you were recognized. How do you think Wagner said Hudson's the guy for us?
Yeah, I was getting recruited by Wagner for a while before the old we got a brand new coaching staff this past season. We're talking old coaching staff. I was getting recruited there. It's pretty high on their board. Coaching change, not high, thankfully. Still sent out my information to the Coach Fox. Said, hey, love your school. And thankfully, he reached back saying, I'd love to hop on a call. And when I stepped foot on campus, I knew this was the right school.
That's when things changed for you. I've heard that from a couple of different athletes. It was just like as soon as you got there, something spoke to you and just said you're in the right place. You're right where you need to be. So you said a long time ago the recruitment process started. Do you think that had anything to do with the fact that you made the All-American watch list in 2023?
I think so, for sure.
Yeah, I would have to too. I look at that group and there's a couple of guys on there that I recognize, and now their names evaded me, so I'm not going to get too far into the uhs and trying to remember, but there's a great list of young men from your 2025 class that made that All-American watch list in 2023, and I would be willing to bet that more than not are committed at this time. So a group like that kind of places you kind of into an elite group, so to speak, right? There's not a lot of guys that can do what you do. There's not a lot of guys that put the effort in and put the hard work that you put in. And that's another reason why I started this podcast, is because there's an elite group of athletes in the Pacific Northwest that you find yourself in that works 5, 6, 7 days a week, not just on their physical preparation, but nutrition, all that stuff, being a better human, getting and on top of it all, getting the appropriate grades and keeping your focus right so you can achieve your goals. And there's nobody talking about you, so we gotta get the word out, because I think you guys are pretty special. So let's keep on cruising. I think we're getting about closer to the end of it, but we're not quite there yet. Rank the top 5 priorities in your life.
Great question. I'd say family, friends, health, education, faith. Not in order, by the way.
Yeah.
Just those 5. Emphasis on the not in order.
No.
But
good,
those
good.
5 are.
I love it. I feel like every time, that's one of my favorite questions, because I feel like every time I get the disclaimer, all right, this is not in order. So mom doesn't get mad that she's 3 or that I didn't put the Lord first or anything like that. So no, good job on the disclaimer, and that's great. Family first, and that's a common one for a lot of people, including myself. Got to keep that family first. At the end of the day, they're all you got, right? They're the ones cheering loudly for you. I think I got sidetracked when I was talking about your dad, though. I wanted to talk more about how your dad has been your greatest promoter, right? So he's there in the stands. He's taking the video. He's plugging it into YouTube. He's doing all that stuff. So how much of that is it you, or is it your dad? Or are you guys doing this together to get, because you have your college recruiting profile and all of that stuff? Is that something that you just put together yourself, or is that something that dad kind of helped you along with?
Yeah, so he filmed pretty much every game ever, and then me and him, we went on Photoshop and then kind of helped made the video, put it out there, and then helped me set up, and then helped me research all the schools, pretty much every single school in the country. Research, is this a good fit? Is it realistic? And would I have a good time there? And really helped out with that. Finding coaches' information, helping me with that, so then I could send a lot of emails out to colleges. He was great with that.
Yeah, some would say detrimental, absolutely pivotal. It's really important to have that person in your corner that is trying to coach you through, and I know that I haven't even met your father, but I know that he is hands down proud of you, as I'm sure he is with the rest of his children as well. But I love to hear that bond. I got into lacrosse because my oldest boy plays, and he's going to go into the military, which is great too. I love that, but I see all the effort, and I love this game, so I want to be able to highlight on you guys as much as I possibly can. Is there anything other than lacrosse that you find fun? You got hobbies, things like that you're interested in?
Yeah, I love mountain biking. I love hiking, just hanging out with the guys. And
what sort of stuff do you do when you're hanging out with the guys?
We like to go to the gym.
Nice.
We like to go go hiking. That's a big one. Hiking. They're trying to get me into fishing. Usually I don't really go with them. We go fishing, but I'm gonna start.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Good new
Fishing's
hobby.
a good activity. Yeah, it's good, clean fun. Let's see. Do you believe? Are there any? What do you feel like your greatest challenge is right now?
Just believing that I can make an impact at the collegiate level. You know, I read all these mental books. Like my dad gave me this book called Mind Gym. Unbelievable book, and it's really helped with my self-confidence. Like knowing that I can just ignore all the outside things and just be yourself out there on the field, so you can make a huge impact.
Wow, great message. Absolutely, yeah. Believing in yourself. That's going to take you through the rest of your life, and that's great. Wow, what a great message, man. You are sharp tack, Mr. Horiuchi. Let's see. So has lacrosse been your only sport forever?
No, I played pretty much every sport growing up. I played basketball, soccer, cross country, baseball, all of them. And then in high school, I played football and lacrosse.
Outstanding. Football just wasn't taking you. I mean, like I said from the beginning, I think as soon as the stick hit your hand, you were like, lacrosse is the thing for me. So is that kind of fair? Like football was just kind of always the next one, and lacrosse is just your baby.
Yeah, definitely.
That's outstanding. I love it. I love that lacrosse has become such an embedded sport in the Northwest, and I always take time to acknowledge and respect the roots. You know, Coach Elquist very well, as he spent a lot of time with Bellarmine, and now is the founder of Pacific Northwest Native Lacrosse, and we always like to make sure that we acknowledge the roots of lacrosse and thank our Indigenous people for the game of medicine. And you know, I always have to make it a point to give them a shout out, because if it weren't for the Indigenous people giving us this game, then none of us would be here talking about it. So shout out to JD Elquist, Pacific Northwest Lacrosse, Native Lacrosse. Go check them out, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. And that brings me to my very last question. I can't remember if I've interviewed you post-game or not, but I'm sure you've seen enough of them. I always talk about honoring the game because I think it's very important to stay prevalent about just being a good person while you're on the field and all of that. So typically at the end of an interview, I ask for the athlete to honor the game by choosing another player from the opposing team that they felt honored the game tonight. But instead, during the podcast, I want to ask the question of, what does honoring the game look like to you?
Yeah, honoring the game to me, playing the game the right way. I mean, I see all these times people can get frustrated by themselves and take their anger by injuring other players, by pushing the back, doing some crazy slashes. I don't think that's honoring the game. I think honoring the game is playing the game how it's supposed to be. Don't be too high when you're up. Like, don't over celebrate. Like, don't be doing behind the back between the legs when you're up by 20, and don't be targeting someone when you're down by 20. It's just playing the game how it's supposed to be played, whether you're up or down.
Absolutely, yeah, great message. You've got quite the handful of little nuggets of knowledge that you're passing along, and I hope that our viewers have stuck around through the end to take them all on. Once again, Hudson Huddy Horiuchi, recent graduate 2025 out of Bellarmine Preparatory School in Tacoma. Look for him playing D1 lacrosse at the next level over at Wagner in Staten Island, New York, where they say lacrosse is played. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I am the Pacific Northwest Lax Caller. Stick around for more episodes. Find us on YouTube and Netflix, I wish. Find us on YouTube and on Instagram. Thanks again. All right, brother.
Oh, yeah. That was good.